Undoubtedly, the most troubling aspect of the killing of blacks by white officers is that the American justice system has a long history of turning its back on people of color. Recent studies have shown that far more lynchings took place in this country than most historians ever thought. And the law offered, of course, little protection. For example, Jesse Thornton was lynched in Alabama in 1940. His crime? Failing to address a white police officer as Mr. Well, there were no cell phone videos to stand witness back then, but one woman dared to raise her voice in protest, and she used song to do it. Her name, of course, is Billie Holiday. The song Strange Fruit, released in 1939. Listen to the chilling words.
Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
We'll be cued for that. You can sing sitting down. Powerful and powerfully disturbing. Born 100 years ago this year, many call Billie Holiday one of the most influential jazz singers of all time. To discuss her impact on American music and on American life, we have Professor Farah Jasmine Griffin. She's the author of If You Can't Be Free, Be a Mystery, Search of Billie Holiday. And Chanel Johnson is here from Jazz at Lincoln Center, running a festival honoring the great singer. Welcome to both of you. Strange Fruit, maybe not the most well-known song by Billie Holiday, but for people who know history, of course, it is, and it's very chilling. I want you to talk a little bit about, you're a biographer, talk about what made Billie Holiday the great singer she was. Was it her experience growing up?
I think that when the song was brought to her, it resonated with her own sense of racial injustice, and she felt that she could bring something unique to it, and she sang it throughout her entire career.
Chanel, I want to ask you, how was that song received?
At first, people didn't want to hear it. Wherever she went, club owners would specifically ask her not to sing the song. But Billie Holiday was such a risk taker, and she was fearless, that she didn't care who was in the audience or who said not to. She did it anyway. And still today, a lot of vocalists are scared to sing because it's a difficult song to sing.
Oh, yeah.
But it still resonates with our time and what we're going through now.
Absolutely. And Professor, I would think at the time she was still already a star. She was already established as a star when she recorded that song.
She was at the beginning of her stardom, basically, and her recording company refused to record it. But she was fearless and a risk taker, as Chanel said, and so she took it to another recording company and insisted that they record it for her.
And obviously, it didn't really hurt her career in any form or fashion.
Yeah, I think that it didn't hurt her career, but it hurt her personally. Sometimes the officers who were watching her would tell her, if you don't sing the song, we won't harass you tonight, and she would sing it anyway, and she paid a price for doing that.
I want to focus more on her life and the things that she went through, but I also want to focus, Chanel, on her voice. Now, my wife is a jazz singer as well. And, you know, we listen to Billie Holiday, and she has a very unique style, a unique voice. And some would say that it's not necessarily a great voice, but it was her delivery, but more, I guess, importantly, her prose, her words, and the ability to characterize feelings and emotions through song.
Right. The great thing about Billie Holiday was she was first a storyteller, and she told her own story. So that made her voice very unique, but also very natural. And so you can't mimic her, but you can only interpret the song she sung for yourself and try to connect and understand what she did with her songs, and then do that for yourself as a singer.
Billie Holiday, the woman, as opposed to the singer, very interesting background where she grew up in poverty. I believe there was a brothel there. She also, at that particular point in time, I guess it was not well known that she had relations with men as well as women. So I guess she really had a lot to talk about, but also we understand that the U.S. government spied on her. What was that all about?
Well, they said they were spying on her to learn more about narcotics. It was the beginning of the war on drugs, even though it wasn't called that. But really, I think that had she not been singing Strange Fruit, she might not have gotten quite as much attention either. But she was harassed and hunted like prey because of her drug use, actually.
You know, I want to say this, and you're going to sing us out to break here. I can't wait to hear you sing. I was talking about the lack of black female jazz singers. I mean, if you were an alien coming back to Earth today, you know, with Nora Jones and some of the others, you wouldn't think that there were the Carmen McRae's and Nancy Wilsons and all those folks. You have folks out there now like Carla Cook, yourself, Deborah Davis, of course, my wife, Barbara King, but you don't hear much of them. And I've got to ask about this tribute at Jazz at Lincoln Center. What can we expect?
You can expect early Billie. So you can expect what Little Moonlight can do, you can expect extravagant arrangements, but you can also expect different singers interpreting her songs for themselves and really a connection with the audience because it's a show. It's a tribute. So we're honoring, honestly, the legacy, but the songstress, the life. So you see a lot of emotion.
If you could describe Billie Holiday and her impact on the music world, not just jazz, upon events that have taken place in this country and shaped it, how would you describe her?
Well, she's one of the major innovators of modern singing in the country and of art. I mean, she influenced not just singers, but also poets. There are more poems about Billie Holiday than just about anyone, and philosophers and historians, actors. She is one of the major artists that our country has ever produced.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. You know, you hear her songs, and some of them are very haunting, and sometimes I can't even listen to all of her songs because I'm like, you know, but just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful artist and prolific. And just so glad that you folks are doing things to highlight and celebrate this wonderful woman. We're going to come back with you in a second here. Just ahead, President Barack Obama reaches out to Cuba and Hillary Clinton, makes it official. You're watching Arise Review. And Chanel?
Yes.
Sing us out.
Them that's got shall get, them that's not will lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got her own, that's got her own.